Hello, here I'm going to quickly prepare some samples to load SDS page gel. So I've already labeled my samples. In this case they are going to go from A4, A6, A8, A10, A12, B11, B9, B7, B5, B3, B1, C2, C4 on a 15 well gel. So first I'm going to make fresh SDS loading gel with DDT. So I'm going to dilute my 4 times SDS sample buffer, which is quite concentrated, about 3 times. So I'll put 120 microliters of water, 60 microliters of 4x SDS sample buffer, and 20 microliters of fresh 200 millimolar DDT, which is, I just got the aliquot from the freezer. And now I'm going to use 10 microliters of this mix for each of the samples. Now I'm going to add 1.5 microliters of the fractionation of the H3. I'm going to use from the vanillinium solution. I still have like a drop left that I'm going to use for the fast lane. Vanillinium is not going to mix very nicely with the DDT sample buffer, but it will be enough to load. Completely precipitates out the SDS, as you can see, but you can still spin it down quickly and load it. Fortunately, the rest of the samples, I have here the plate from the fractionation from the size exclusion chromatography. I'm going to start with A4. Right, so that's done. So now I'm going to boil the samples just by using a PCR machine. Just by incubating 5 minutes, 95 degrees. Now I'm going to assemble the cassette on the Biorad standard SDS program. So I have kept the gel that I made yesterday in the fridge, which they keep quite well. Just label them. And I wouldn't keep them for more than a week, but they keep very well overnight. I just put some paper towel with water and then wrap it up in cling film. As you can see, it's very humid so that the polyacrylamide doesn't shrink. I like to keep the combs in. So now, the way it goes, the combs, they go to the inner part, okay? Just like that. So you see it from the side. We put in the cone inside, and then we put the buffer down, looking inside as well. Just close. Right, so now I'm ready to load the gel. So I have positioned the cassette inside, matching the colors, the positive and the negative poles. Take out the cone carefully so that the welds are nice and straight, and I can check that. Clean the cone in a minute. Now I'm going to start loading. I'm going to put just 5 microliters, and I'm using the long tips to go really near, easily down into the wall. So I put my elbows on the bench so it's easier to make a steady loading. And when I finish loading, instead of forcing a bubble to come out, I start sucking back up. I have labeled the L for ladder where I want to load the ladder, which I'm going to load just 2 microliters. Try to go near the bottom of the well and then load slowly with the P20. Because I'm loading only 5 microliters, that should be enough. Right, so now that they're loaded, I'm going to top up the buffer and get it running at a speed of, or the voltage of 80 volts to begin with. For about 20 minutes, and then I will increase the voltage up to 160. Finally, once the sample has dried completely, you just switch off, disconnect, empty the buffer, open the cassette, and take out the sample, which is what is of interest here. I have some recycled Comasi staining kept in the fridge, which in this case is going to be enough to visualize the protein of interest. So to open the cassette and not break thin glass, the important thing is to start from the corners. So I use the Biorad conventional tool by inserting it on one of the corners and then wiggle a little bit until I see I have made room. And then I go to the other side and do exactly the same, and now I can take off the piece. Sometimes the gel will stay in the thin glass, sometimes it will stay in the thick glass. Doesn't matter. Now we can go to the bottom, lift it a little bit with the help of this wedge, and then carefully transfer it onto the glass, where it will take about 3 hours to fully stain, to overnight. And that's it.